Another awkward start.
Another awkward start, but we're here, and we've got a list for this video, and we're going to talk about things that bands do that piss off the fans. And I don't mean this to be negative in the sense that I want to come down hard on any band or anything like that, but dang it, you know, we are fans
We're
of
just
some of the bands.
Yeah. Throwing stuff around.
And we're huge fans of our favorite bands, and then sometimes they do things and it just boggles the mind. And you go, how could they possibly do that? So, we've got a list of things here today. Anthony actually has the list. So, let's kick off. What's the first thing on here?
Am I allowed to look at any of this from a musician perspective?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So, go too long between albums.
Yeah. You've done that.
I used to hate it.
Yeah.
Right? But I realize as you get older, it's rough.
Yeah.
The time is rough.
Yeah,
Your idea of being relevant to anything is rough. So maybe I can understand where these guys are coming from, but we're looking at it as you got money, you got my money, give me music, make a record.
And I'm looking at it from the perspective of a fan in that I love this band. I've got, 10 albums or however many from them, and they haven't put something out in a decade, and I want something new.
Even if it's garbage.
But I do get what you're talking about. They get older, the priorities change, and, maybe they're not feeling it. I don't want to force them into recording anything.
The biggest thing I think is it's your idea of relevance.
Yeah.
You don't want to repeat yourself. Do you have the right, as somebody who has made a career out of this, to say something that is similar to what you said 20 years prior on your first album?
Right. Well, it's
so,
like, when you were 18 or 20 and you're singing about falling in love or rock and roll partying and stuff, and now you're 55 or whatever these guys are, and it's like they're saying, well, I don't party anymore and I don't do that. And so for me to write a song that's like that doesn't make any sense. And if they write about what they're currently doing, which is not rock and roll maybe,
it's not rock and roll enough to put on a record.
Right.
So it's a difficult thing.
Yeah. No, and I
do.
totally get that.
But I do love the idea of back in the 60s and 70s, man, when you had a record a year, sometimes
two or three. Sometimes, man, it was crazy.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, and I'm okay with it if it's a 7 or 8 song album.
Right.
Because maybe at that rate, you can release the record, you can sell it for a better price. You could go on tour, come back, write another record, and people will probably bitch about that. What's up, brother?
Hi.
Possibly, these people that are making records nowadays, they're like, well, that's so much work to have to release a record a year.
Right.
That's your fucking job. It's everything you and a million people have dreamed about.
Right.
And you have a problem with that?
Right.
Fuck you. Go back and work anywhere else and do anything else.
Whoa.
If you're a young person and you can't crank shit out,
what are you doing?
If your
in the
record
music
company
industry?
doesn't let you, I get it. You got to fight them on it. Fight them. And release the music. Don't be an asshole. It's so much work. Quit.
Well, I wonder
That's your job.
Why there are musicians that got into the industry then and don't want to make albums. The
Sweating.
ones that only want to tour. Just play the hits every night for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. Some of them come back after a while. It's like Jethro Tull didn't make a new album of original material.
He didn't
for
tour either,
23
though, right?
years. No, he did. In there. Well, he was doing mostly solo stuff. But I will say they did start coming back and playing. And it took 23 years to get something. Blue Oyster Cult did the same thing. And then now we got the Rolling Stones, who have toured tons since 2005.
Maybe they just like playing. It's the money. It's you're used to a certain kind of living.
Right.
I know I love playing.
Sure.
So, and I'm going to use the me thing in this often only because it's relatable and I understand. Sometimes I just want to play shows. I don't want to have to deal with going into a studio and making a record. I don't even want to deal with writing songs sometimes.
Right.
It just gets me. Man, I would love to go out and just play a couple of shows. Period.
And I get that.
I do.
Yeah, totally. I mean, there's a whole different thing behind playing live than going in a studio and writing something. Playing live, man, there's an energy to it, and you bounce off the fans.
But how long can you do that before you make new music? Maybe you just don't want to.
Yeah.
And that's okay if you don't want to. Just play rock and roll.
Yeah.
You see, I'm glad we're going off the list because I didn't want to think about this because a lot of this shit I'm split in the middle on.
Yeah. All right, what's the next thing on there? We covered the first two. Changing key members.
People are assholes. People quit.
Right.
People just you can't relate to anymore. Some people turn out to be pedophiles. So you have to change those members.
Days. I know. It's crazy.
But I agree. Changing key members sucks because it changes the dynamic of the band. Guns N' Roses is never going to write anything as great as what they did with Izzy. That's not saying what they write is not going to be great, but Izzy was a super part of how they wrote.
Sure.
And those songs came to life,
sound.
man.
Yeah.
So I'm even taking away. Take away sound. Take away your style.
Right.
Just the way two people go together.
Yeah.
When have you heard a person like Slash and Izzy, the interplay between those two instruments together? It was a magical thing.
Yeah. Keith Richards and Mick Jagger.
See, and that can touch on one of our points that we talked about. Genres.
Yeah.
Because he said blues rock, and I immediately want to take genres away and just say, no, man, it's about two people and how they interact together. One of them just happens to be a certain style, right? But it's tough. Key members is tough.
Yeah, and my thing with that is when it gets down to like a drummer, and he's the only guy left, and everyone else that's in the band. Yeah, I just don't like that.
Because it's a good way to. That's how I'm gonna assure 50 people come to my show tonight. Is because I'm the drummer of a long defunct band, and I'm gonna get a bunch of guys to play on it, so I can make sure I have 50 people show up to my show.
Yeah,
and release new. And you know what, man? Do it. It's fine.
So like the Guess
but it doesn't make us fucking hate it anyway.
Yeah, so one of the bands that does that is the Guess Who, and just the drummer's original in there. He's got some other cool players, but at least they're recording new albums. Foghat is the same way. It's only the drummer that's left. But if you are going to do that, make albums. Don't just live off what the other guys wrote and did in the band. So there's some instances that I say, okay, it's fine. They're making a new name for themselves, doing it that way. But at the same time, no one's left.
No one's left.
I should say that defined the sound. A guitar player, the vocalist,
What's
that
up?
Sort of a thing.
Just a little.
Thanks, man.
Good. Well, we'll see you.
So, all right. So then, is that a double-edged sword? Because now you got this band that you're already pissed off they're doing shit because it's only the drummer,
Right.
or only the bass player,
Right.
Sorry, bass players. And then
Unless it's Les Claypool from Primus.
fucking.
Or Bootsy
Sorry, I
Collins.
don't mean that. He's
No,
a great,
but
talented guy.
those are very
I have
defining.
no taste for Primus at all. Like, it's one of those things that I hear and it makes me cringe.
I love Primus.
I can't do it. Yeah, I don't.
I
Yeah,
know. That's a whole different
video. So we're now you're like, all right, they're making new music. Now you're gonna go to the show,
Right.
and they're gonna play that new music. Where do you sit on that?
See, but I love the new music.
What if you didn't?
Right, and if I didn't, then of course that would be a problem.
Now,
too.
what if you go and they cut out 6 songs that you love just to play all the new music? And you're like, God damn it, you're calling yourself the Guess Who, and you didn't play Clap for the Wolf Man.
Right.
Come on.
Yeah.
And I
hear
guess
you're right.
tough,
It's a double-edged sword. But for me, if I go to a live show, I want to hear new. I want to hear obscure tracks. I want to hear something that I wouldn't hear normally. So when I go to these shows, and it's just the greatest hits. It's like Kiss, man. They just play the greatest hits. They never dig deep into the catalog. They've got album after album they could do. And they put out some recent new albums, and they almost never play anything off that stuff.
Yeah.
And they just go back and play the big stuff from the 70s and a few out of the 80s and skip over everything from the 90s
And it's a
and
bummer.
the 2000s. It is.
It's also a bummer because you can capitalize on your time. You're giving me an hour 30.
Yeah.
An hour 20. Give me 2. Bruce gives me 3.
Yeah.
Pearl Jam, even though it's only 25 songs, they're still doing 2.5 hours. And I think the number was they played 109 songs in 8 shows on their last tour.
Yeah. So a lot of different stuff.
You can do that.
Metallica doing the no repeat weekends.
I like it.
You know, 2 different set lists for 2 nights in the same town.
I'm not I love that they're doing that. I'm not taking that away from them. I keep saying I'm going to go on and compare the first night in my town from the first night in your town to the first night in their town.
And it's probably
see if the first night's always the same and the second night. But Metallica's always known to swap around a little bit. They're
but
always
even
good
when
with
you
that.
look at it, it's still full of the hits. They really didn't dig deep in anything of what they're playing, in my opinion.
I did not.
I compared
Jump in a set
the
list.
New Jersey show that they did, and it was just sort of like, they've done it all before. They didn't dig deep in it. So it's cool, but at the same time, it's expected.
I get because you have to. I don't agree with it, but I guess you have to appeal to the majority of the people that bought your tickets.
Right.
Were,
And that's what they're doing. Yeah.
and I don't like it.
Right.
Give the fans a chance, like Bruce or Pearl Jam did, to experience other sides of you to where that's what people will want, and they'll go and they'll seek that stuff out. But you're not even giving it that chance. You're going in, you're phoning it in,
Yep.
and you're going home with a paycheck.
Right. Iron Maiden goes out, and if they've got a brand new album, they play the first 5 or 6 songs of the show or the new album.
I used to
Then
love
they-
when bands did that.
Yeah. And then they dig into all the other stuff.
Yeah.
Then after that tour, they always alternate and do one that's all the old hits. Like they don't go past 87 or 89.
That's fine.
Yeah, right. But it's
Make it because now you're making it an event.
and they talk about it and they promote it and they say, if you're not into new stuff, that's what this tour is about. If you want the old stuff, we're going to do that tour next. They're up front. They talk about it.
That's
and you know what?
brilliant. Holy shit.
All the fans come out for it either way.
Yes. That's
So
cool.
yeah.
All right, what's next on the list? So what was our final and changing key members? I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. We're just bitching and moaning about it. I don't know
Yeah,
that there's
I mean-
a decision on it.
Yeah, you're right.
I like it in some ways. I don't like it in other ways.
What do you guys think about key member
Yeah.
changes?
I mean, one of the things is bands that have more greatest hits albums than studio albums.
Yeah.
And that ties into what we were just talking about
feel
with
like
the
Kiss
live
has that.
thing. Yeah, so does Aerosmith. They just put out a new one for
Yeah.
the 50th anniversary of their debut album. And the single disc version of it only covers like the first 25 years. It does not have anything after that.
And what's the 2-bit disc version?
It does have something from the last studio album on there, but that album's like 12 years old at this point. So it's not really covering 50 years. They didn't do anything. There's no live version of something from a recent show. Nothing that brings it present day.
You're really burned up about this.
I am. I am
Dude, this is like
absolutely. I know. I've been. I
love it. No, I think it's fine.
Multiple times.
Yeah, that
But
really
it
bothers
burns
you.
me up. Yeah, a band, the Rolling Stones, celebrating their 60th anniversary, but they're putting out a brand new album, 12 new songs, not cover songs, newly written songs. They're doing it right.
Yeah.
So, all right, what haven't we covered?
We just did hit albums.
Yeah, yeah.
Re-release the same album over and over again.
Nirvana. We were just talking about this earlier. So,
What's up, Dave?
Hey, Dave.
Stop.
We missed you last Monday, bro. It kind of messed up our day. What happened?
Why? What happened?
You just weren't here.
Yeah, I know.
Why not?
I don't know. What was Monday?
Fun day. It's like
Monday
our day
was
to
Monday.
hang out.
I know. I couldn't get motivated. What did I do? Did it rain?
No,
I think I fucking laid in bed all day.
that's nice. Dave, what do you think about the re-release of the same album over and over again?
Like Nirvana doing Nevermind twice, 20th and 30th, and then In Utero
I wouldn't
now.
care if they didn't get it more expensive every time they read it.
Boom!
Boom, exactly.
Yeah, you want to get in this video? You want to finish this video off
Not
with us?
really, but I mean, you know, how about we make these things cheaper?
I agree.
Yeah, and we just had
Make
a
'em
video
cheaper,
about
man.
that as well.
Hey, what's up, Doug?
Stop canceling my orders so I can get them cheaper and then filling them at higher prices, so I have to put them out for more money.
That's in. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's a distributor issue that we're having.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so re-release over and over again. That's
Right.
the perfect way. And we just talked about that. Is the money.
Yeah. Not only are they re-releasing it, but it's going up.
325, and again, we'll talk about the Nevermind. The Nevermind was 280 or 275 when that came out. And you got 4 live shows. You got the record, and you got a 7-inch.
Yeah.
Now you're only getting 2 live shows, more paraphernalia, and
And they're raising the price on it.
they're splitting the live shows over 3
Sides.
LPs,
Okay.
6 sides, but yet they didn't do that in the Nevermind box set.
It's just to look
You
like
can
more.
put 5 songs per side. It's to make it look like you're getting more
Right,
and charging
because
more.
people
So it's
just
bullshit.
people just count up the number of records that
Yep.
are in it, number of CDs, and
Yeah.
say,
I didn't know.
Give me
Oh.
3 shows.
yeah.
I'll take 3 shows
There's,
over 2
there's
shows.
got to be
It's-
3 shows.
It's
Yeah.
no, it's 2 shows.
No,
Yeah.
but what
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean is there's
for
got to be
$325.
or 4 shows they could shove in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, airing dirty laundry on social media.
Yeah, you know, band like Journey. Okay, that's
Are they doing that?
absolutely. Where the guitar player is bitching and moaning about finances that's controlled by the keyboard player, and they're back and forth on Twitter, just saying things to each other. And it's like, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to get in the middle of all of that. I just
Doug,
want
what
to
can
hear
we
the
look for you
music.
for today?
Larry Cohen.
So yeah, you know, bands that are airing their dirty laundry.
It's stupid. I don't
Talking
care about it.
hate about the other members in the band. Then they're up on stage playing with each other, but we have to hear about them not taking the same tour bus and they can't get along and they're using lawyers to communicate. It's like, if that's happening, keep it behind the scenes.
I agree with keeping it behind the scenes. That's why it was better when we didn't have to deal with all that shit. And we talked about it in the press. And Bon Jovi, I remember an interview with him about him and what was it, Tico, right?
Tico, yeah.
Not Tico.
Or
Alec John
Such.
Is that what's his? How do you say his last name? Was it Such? Was it Suck?
I don't know what, but yeah.
But either way, so when he got tossed,
Right.
Bon Jovi said in an interview, John said, "You don't air your dirty laundry."
No, they
in public.
always kept it behind.
And that's cool, man. I respect him a lot for that. So
do.
yeah, keep it to yourself. And then the other thing is, you could just do what most of us should do: stay off of social media.
Yeah.
Don't live your life through it.
If you're doing it, promote your product, promote your band, promote your
Promote
shows.
positivity.
That's right.
Yeah, I've learned, and it's going to go with the last one too, which is when bands get political, just ignore it.
Yeah.
Don't wrap yourself up in it. I would hope that you have better shit to live for and to breathe for than worrying about what asshole number 1 is saying to asshole number 2, and then how you, asshole number 3, is reacting to that. So ignore it. It's not your problem.
No.
Right?
Where music should be about an escape, an experience. It's fun.
A feeling of bliss.
Yeah. It should not be about bringing you down.
No. And you're bringing yourself down.
Yeah. And it's jading, and it's coloring the music and the product. And there's a lot of people where, specific artists like Ted Nugent goes out there. He's got a whole different political opinion than I've got. And I don't mind that, except the way that he talks about it, and he talks down about everyone else who doesn't believe that, makes me not like him as a person.
That's what sucks.
And it hurts the fact that I love his music, and then I don't want to pull it out and listen to it.
That's what does suck, which is why I choose not to listen to them anymore. I can't, because I don't want how you move me ruined.
Yeah. So I had to put that aside for
Get
a
rid of
while.
it. Yeah. Step away from it.
When Ozzy Osbourne was doing his Osbourne show, and he was coming off as this big buffoon, whether he is or he isn't, it really changed my opinion of him as the metal, guy, the Prince of Darkness,
That's what I was saying.
And then
That was his first band.
like
before he went solo.
the last topic, political is stage.
Yeah.
That's what we got.
I know it's your stage, but I did pay for the ticket and I came to hear the music. I don't really care who you support. I don't care
How much are these?
what you want to do when you get off the stage. You shouldn't
17.
incite. I know because there's open human good debate that an artist can have with an audience and stuff like that. But maybe I don't know, maybe just don't do it.
Yeah, Taylor Swift telling fans to go out and register to vote, her young
Boom.
fans. That was great. She didn't say you should be Democrat, you should be Republican. She simply said get out and register, and apparently tons of them did.
Good.
So that kind of stuff I respect, but don't jade one side or the other.
Yeah, I don't want to hear anybody. When I was a kid, I did. I wanted to hear everybody MFing each other and all that shit on stage. I used to love when Eddie used to rail against George Bush. That was the coolest shit in the world, right? But I just I was a kid. I loved the I don't know. I'm not using the word.
No,
I just like
kind of thing.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah.
I like that. Now I don't care, man, because I could have gotten 2 more songs instead of 10 minutes of chaos. But at the same time, you did witness an experience.
Right.
It was cool, but now we're going back to 2000. We've grown past that and out of that. Now 2003.
And maybe
let
that's
it go.
part of it. Maybe,
now just forget about it.
Maybe when I was that age, this stuff didn't bother me. I don't know. I don't really
Now it bothers
remember
us.
that. But
Or does it bother us because there's so much of it and because it's so
I think it is.
just rubbed in our faces?
The internet is good and it's bad. It's given us our music instantly, and we can see all this great stuff and access, have closer contact with our favorite bands. But at the same time, it's given us all of this other side, dirty stuff. I don't really want to know.
Which now goes back into the overall thing. If you don't like it, you don't have to be there. You don't have to listen to it. You don't have to watch it.
Exactly. And that's
Right?
kind of the same thing with everything we're talking about here today, that we're ranting about with our things that our favorite bands do that piss us off. I don't have to buy that album if it only has one member. I don't have to go see the live show. I don't have to buy a greatest
What's up,
hits
Bob?
if it doesn't have anything new on
But
it.
we're gonna.
I'm going
because
to.
we love it.
And that's
but
why
we're allowed to talk. We're allowed to express our opinions about
Right,
it, which
right.
can be 1, talking shit about it, 2, bitching about it, 3, it's a rant.
It's a
but
rant.
we're gonna buy it anyway.
I'm gonna buy
we're
it
not
anyways.
telling you not to buy it.
Right. This is
we're
just
sharing
saying-
our opinion with you so you can share your opinion with us.
Exactly.
Because I think 2 people were really upset with us last week.
Oh, were they?
Right?
Yeah. That's all right.
Talk about relevant.
Yeah, people are always upset with something we say or do.
Yeah.
Whatever. So,
Because we weren't being relevant. I'm being relevant.
Yeah,
We're
oh.
being relevant to you, the people watching.
because we were talking about kids that are starving in the world and war and all of that sort of stuff. That person got really upset that we were talking about record store prices. Like, why does that even matter?
Apparently, it matters to
It
us.
does. So all of this stuff is relevant within the music world, and that's what these rants
And this
these
is where the
topics-
escape from the homeless people
Yeah.
and the bombing and the bullshit and you
Yeah,
assholes
forest
paying
fires
attention to
and the
social media
storms
instead
and-
of ignoring the nonsense comes into play.
Yeah.
That's why we talk about these things, because it gives you an escape like a song for a certain point of time.
You got
Not worry about that shit. And why is that guy watching this instead of watching something that's relevant?
exactly.
If we're not relevant, you sat through our video,
Yeah, you
hey
wasted
buddy,
your own time.
You wasted your own time. We have could we do a quick call out
Yeah.
to a couple guys that sent us a record that I forgot about?
Absolutely.
We were supposed to talk about this before,
Okay.
and I totally forgot, but I just
yes.
want to give a shout out to Uncle Sally, who I've been calling Uncle Salty
Yeah, I know. That's
for
because
the
of
longest time.
The Procol Harum song. Is that where that comes from? No,
No, it's Aerosmith.
Aerosmith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's either the record's called World of Hurt.
Yes.
Check it out, man.
Oh,
it's
fantastic.
groovy hard rock.
Yeah.
It's good rock and roll.
1993. These guys are local from where I grew up, the Tampa area in Florida, and I can't say enough about them. The song "Evil." Check out that song on here. It is absolutely
liked
take me
all of
away from this evil.
When I
Limit-
initially wasn't crazy when U.S. Blues came on, I'm like, whatever.
Okay.
But each song continued to suck me
better.
in. But then I forget, I think I was in here with John, and John's like, first song kicks, man. I'm like, see, that's a cool thing. You don't always have to like the same thing.
Right.
And find a positive way to share it with each other.
Absolutely. And this is limited to 100 copies. That's a repress.
This one's yours.
Okay. And yeah, check it out, guys. People watching my channel know I've already talked about this band a number of times. so,
Awesome.
yeah. That's great that they sent you some.
They sent us some. Is that an egg?
Maybe. I never really looked at it. I think they're sitting on a
That's a
toilet.
toilet.
I just realized
With
they're
an egg
sitting-
in front of it.
Yeah, they're sitting on a toilet.
What's happening? All right.
Oh, there you go. Turn it around though. There's the logo, the wolf on it. Much killer. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Let us know the rants and things that you have about what your favorite bands do that piss you off and stuff, and get
stay
it out of your
relevant.
system and stay relevant.
That's our call tag.
That's right.
Stay relevant.
Stay relevant, guys.